Hello everyone, I'm Ronald Mehta and welcome back to marketing91.com. We provide management and marketing training to students and professionals worldwide through our courses, videos and community. This video is part of our comprehensive take on the gamut of human resource management. Alright, let's start with the gamut of recruitment. The process of seeking, discovering and employing talent for a given open position is known as recruitment. Well, recruitment encompasses the hiring process from initial screening through the integration of the recruit that we call an employee into the firm. Moving further, let's take an example here. Singapore Airlines to recruit 2,000 cabin crew by March 2023. Airlines are speeding up the recruitment process as more nations resume air travel. Since March 2022, Singapore Airlines has hired more than 800 cabin crew employees. 3 out of every 5 new employees were former crew members who had left during the pandemic in 2020. According to the Straits Times, the airline plans to hire 2,000 cabin crew staff by March 2023 to meet the rising demand of air travel. The fact that the bulk of the new hires have previously worked with Singapore Airlines lowers the amount of time required to train them for the renewed stint with the firm. Moving forward, well, did you know the world's largest recruitment drive was conducted by Indian Railways, wherein they received over 25 million applications for just 90,000 vacancies and positions. We'll talk about this case study at the fag end of this particular video. Moving on to another example of Indian IT behemoth Tata Consultancy Services specific recruitment drive for women. TCS introduced its most extensive recruitment campaign for women professionals seeking a new career opportunity in September 2021. The new initiative, titled Re-Begin for hiring women professionals, provided a chance for brilliant, seasoned women professionals to inspire, reinvent and push themselves to make an impact. As stated, we at TCS cherish talent who believe they can change the world through the unique set of skills and perspectives. If you are one of them, then we are excited to introduce our special hiring initiative designed for aspiring talent as quoted by the advertisement. Now moving further, well, recruitment broadly is of two types, internal and external. Both are equally useful depending on the nature of the job business and the required job role. Both have advantages and disadvantages. Sourcing candidates to fill a position from within your existing workforce is termed as internal recruitment. Sourcing candidates from outside of your company is termed as external recruitment. We'll be covering both of these separately in separate videos in our HRM course. Now moving forward, looking at the recruitment methods. Well, there are 12 key methods of recruitment, starting with direct advertisement, talent pool database, employee referrals, Boomerang Employees, promotion and transfers, employment exchange, recruitment agencies, professional firms, internship and apprenticeship, recruitment drives, organic reach or word of mouth, and finally, bulletin boards. We look at each one of them briefly with suitable examples and case studies. Let's start with the first one, direct advertising. Direct ads on the company's career sites, job portal, and social media can attract a large number of potential candidates. While it does promote the company brand, commonly known as employer branding, and improves your image in the market, it comes with a hefty price tag of spending on advertisements. Poorly placed or drafted advertisements can lead to an inappropriate or low number of suitable applications. At number 2 is talent pool databases. Always check your talent pool databases for applicants and prospects who are not hired but were good enough to keep and reconsider for future openings in your firm. The rationale is pretty simple. Most positions that you fill have at least 2 or 3 applicants being seriously considered for the post. Searching your talent database first whenever a new position opens up can save a lot of time. At number 3 are employee referrals. The employee referral program is present in most of the companies. The referral program focuses on both internal and external recruitment. Existing employees refer people outside the organization to fill suitable positions. This practice holds value since it's cost-saving and prompt. It is safe to say that your current employees will refer potential candidates. Also, employees can be expected to guide the potential hire to know more about the company and the role, which puts these so-called applicants in a more knowledgeable positions than the non-referral hires. Let's look at some examples of referral programs of a couple of companies, starting with the first one in Mobi. The mobile advertising giant was screening for engineering managers to join its team. On its meteoric rise to the top, traditional recruitment channels failed to meet its fast-paced growth. So thinking laterally, here's a program devised by the managers. For any employee who successfully referred a candidate for an engineering manager role, they awarded a Royal Enfield bike in India and a Vespa in US offices. The referrers could also choose to avail a vacation to Bali and watch the sunrise from a volcano instead of choosing the bike. The two-wheelers were stationed at the entrances of the offices so that all the employees would be reminded and motivated to refer a potential hire. The result? InMobi took the referral rate from 20% to 50% for a 900 people team. Another good example of an employee referral program comes from the software giant Salesforce. Salesforce decided to host hiring happy hours where employees got a chance to invite friends that are interested in applying. The idea undercut any friction in the process and made it enjoyable. They followed up with extremely quick processing of suggested applicants, and the recruiters had a more casual way to build connections through the party. Even if the prospect was not ready to go ahead at that time, they may be brought in later as the relationship has already been established. Well, sounds very simple. Invite your buddy for a beer at your workplace. At number 4 are Boomerang Employees. The practice of rehiring previous employees is slowly gaining prominence. These employees worked well at a firm but subsequently left for many reasons. They are known as Boomerang Employees. Employees see the worth in Boomerang workers as they are aware of their qualities and the rehire is familiar with the company's work culture. Rehiring a Boomerang employee shortens the hiring process, minimizes the risk of a bad recruit and lowers the cost per hire. Well, we'll be covering Boomerang Employees in depth in a separate video, but here are a couple of slides on that. So why do you hire Boomerang employees? Recruiters think the practice of rehiring is a mixed bag. On the surface, it may appear that the firms would prefer not to recruit such an employee who left the company as they are unsure of their commitment, and it may make the organization appear weak. Owing to the intrinsic human nature of feeling upset, they believe that by recruiting a former employee, the staff gains an advantage. However, there is another school of thought that advocates allowing former employees to return to the system. And who has done this better than Steve Jobs, one of the finest examples of a Boomerang employee? The usefulness of this practice undoubtedly played a hand in creation of the iPhone. Steve Jobs was driven out of Apple 9 years after co-founding the business in 1976. It was called to be an acrimonious parting. However, both parties made amends and Jobs returned to Apple as the CEO from 1997 until 2011 when he passed away due to cancer. During that time, he led Apple from near bankruptcy to exponential success and global recognition by introducing the likes of the iPod, the iPhone, iPad, and the Apple Store. At number 5 are promotions and transfers. Even if promotions and transfers do not mean the same, they are based on the same notion. Internal candidates are identified to take up available positions. A promotion entails moving up the corporate ladder, being given greater responsibility, and receiving a pay raise. A transfer is usually a horizontal one. It does not involve more responsibilities or pay. Staff can be transferred to the same role in another branch or region, or they can take a similar position in different department or division. Moving on to number 6, employment exchanges. In some countries, employment exchanges are mandatory while in others they are unavailable. The Employment Exchange is a government-led program that tracks unemployed job seekers and compiles a database. Employers provide vacancies to the exchange and receive details of suitable candidates in return. Exchange is a cost-effective option. However, it is best suited to more entry-level manufacturing, agricultural, and artisanal occupations. At number 7 are recruitment agencies. A recruiting firm can help you with your employment procedure. These firms handle the whole hiring process on your behalf. Although utilizing an agency is expensive, it frees up your time to focus on more critical issues. Recruitment services are an excellent alternative for difficult-to-fill roles and for businesses that lack the internal HR resources to focus on hiring. Well, an external recruiter may be hired to connect to specific candidates that are suited for your company. Here's a catch. You may be aware of a passive applicant that would be ideal for your position, but they work for your competitor. So to avoid making direct contact, an executive search recruiter, sometimes known as a headhunter, might be an excellent pick. At number 8 are professional organizations. Professional groups may be a fantastic source of applicants when you need to fill a highly qualified position. Many occupations demand that individuals register with the proper professional organization upon qualifying, maybe for training purposes. There are additional organizations where registration is optional but increase the legitimacy of a candidate's qualification. That's why training. Well, for instance, there are many professional institutes that provide cabin crew training, standoff. Later, these organizations and institutes also provide job assistance and place their candidates who have been trained in reputed airlines. At number 9 are internships and apprenticeship. A great approach to learning about people's skill is to offer internship and apprenticeship. These may be regarded as a working interview. Line and recruiting managers should analyze the potential and discover budding talent who can be nurtured to fill future jobs. Future leaders must begin somewhere and they will all begin with an entry-level post. Thus, these programs can be breeding grounds for future talent, typically known as a summer internship, where they work with the company for a couple of months. And if the company feels that these summer interns are up for the mark, they are given a PPO, which is called as a pre-placement offer, wherein they join once they finish their post-graduation. At number 10 are recruitment events. Recruitment events are ideal for gathering the right pool of candidates for large organizations or businesses looking to expand. Open days, career fairs, a hackathon, and a graduate recruiting campaigns on campus are all examples of events, although may be expensive. To get the best returns, you must clearly know your employer's value proposition and know the exact kind of talent you're looking for. Events are a great way to market your employer identity and advertise that your organization values talent development. Let's look at some examples. Amazon's Virtual Career Day in 2020. Following the cancellation of in-person events during the pandemic, Amazon launched a virtual career day to highlight the company's 33,000 open vacancies. They did not, however, stop with a webinar or two. In fact, 20,000 1:1 career mentoring sessions were conducted by about 1,000 Amazon recruiters. The event included career workshops, making it more simply about employment in Amazon. A host of Amazon staff, including drivers and the Amazon Web Services specialist, interacted with candidates. Next example is of Spotify's recruiting event known as Diversify. Hackathon events, although designed to attract programmers, coders and developers, are overwhelmingly male-dominated. Spotify used its power as an industry leader to encourage a change, having noted a lowly 15:85 female-to-male ratio at their events. Spotify set off to host a hackathon named Diversify, aiming for a 50-50 participation ratio. Well, that worked for them. They avoided Ninja and Barbie motifs in their recruiting drive, while achieving participant diversity ratios at 43% female to 57% male. Spotify's event set a record among tech events. Next, a recruiting event by Lego known as the Lego Brick Factor. The Lego Brick Factor is a nationwide competition hosted by Lego in which 100 contestants complete 3 building challenges. They compete for the title of the Master Model Builder at the Legoland Discovery Center and a job offer on the spot. Makers are tasked with creating structures based on themes such as build something from your favorite book. Children get invites to watch the makers at work and even interact with them. Iron Coffee, one of the winners of the Brick Factor in Boston, was picked for his ability to engage with kids. Testing a candidate's ability cannot get better proven than at such an event where they can demonstrate exactly that. Moving on to the next method of word of mouth. Big companies and MNCs can easily use organic recruitment methods like word of mouth as job seekers approach them every day. Their value proposition is already established as an employer of choice, thus employer branding. To fill an open position, all they need to do is spread the word and a good response will follow. This strategy can be used in rural locations when a single company employs a significant number of the local population, such as a manufacturing site. High street shops in small towns can potentially attract applications by spreading the news through the local grapevine. And finally, at number 12 is the bulletin boards. Some jobs can still be promoted via bulletin boards. Job seekers frequently wait outside industrial gates for day or contract jobs to be advertised. Seasonal agriculture workers congregate at local markets to view job postings by local farmers. So these were the 12 recruitment methods that are broadly adopted by employers worldwide. And finally, let's close this video with the case study of the world's largest recruitment drive, as I mentioned in the beginning of the video. Indian Railways conducts one of the world's largest recruitment drive, wherein 25 million applications for 90,000 jobs. Moving on, out of these 25 million people who applied applications, about 4.75 million applications were for 26,500 employment posts for automotive loco pilot and about 18.9 million for about 62,907 Group D positions. The numbers are alarming for both candidates and companies. The 18.9 million applications are for Group D positions, which entail the likes of gangmen, track maintenance, switchman, pointsman, porter, assistant, etc. According to a senior official in the recruitment department, the testing process spanned about 1,100 centers in 350 cities. It took about 74 shifts and 25 days to complete. Moving on. Well, a job in railways is highly desired in India. Exams are simply one component of a vast process that begins with screening applications and ends with soliciting objections. It involves a dynamic blend of personal and technology and carries on for a year at least. The hiring procedure starts by eliminating non-serious prospects. The causes of the long lines of people waiting to work for the government have been thoroughly studied. Our position, as I said, in the railways is highly desired. For individuals who do not come from wealthy households, it is their first option. Therefore, they seek employment with the government as soon as possible because there are a lot of benefits. Many applications are filed by insincere cheaters and may include deceptive images. The task of combing through these 23 to 25 million applications falls on the recruitment team. Moving further. Well, the filtering process, serious versus non-serious. So the first sorting is done by a computer program that can filter our applications where the accompanying photo is of an animal or a building according to an official. But a software can't do much more than that in distinguishing actual candidates from fake candidates. It can't flag the photos of celebrities such as Salman Khan or Aishwarya Rai, so the next level of sorting has to be done manually. It's a time-consuming process. Next in line is the nuances of the question paper. Question papers are developed securely for the selected applicants whom the railway believes to be sincere applicants. Question papers cover the common areas of study for competitive tests for entry-level positions: English, science, math, reasoning and current events. However, the catch is that no two question papers can be alike. The applicants get the questions electronically, which are prepared in English and transcribed into 15 Indian languages. Regardless of the numerous safeguards and encryption used by the test makers, the recruitment department spends major efforts attempting to stay ahead of cheaters. Advertisements are circulated urging candidates not to fall for exam touts and ensuring that each student in a classroom receives a unique set of questions. Moving on, the final selection. The testing stages are divided into 3 separate phases and are supported by an INR 300 crore budget. Usually 15 times as many applicants are chosen for the second round of interviews as there are open positions. Those who succeed in the second phase and are put through a psychological assessment to see whether they are prepared for jobs related to trains that require attentiveness and physical labor. List of chosen candidates are compiled, which is a time-consuming procedure in itself. Moving on, dealing with quotas. An official from the Indian Railway explained that the internal work a little further. He explained we have to even enter quotas under various categories such as SC, ST, OBC creamy layer, OBC non-creamy layer, ex-servicemen, physically challenged, etc. According to him, there are places available for applicants who are orthopedically challenged, out of which the blind applicants will need to be barred and vice versa. Despite what it might appear like, this is not the final link in the chain. Then comes the nuances of objections. After the results are announced, test takers have the opportunity to appeal to the results on the grounds of unfairness. Candidates are able to examine the question paper, their own responses and the right answers on the objection tracker that the Regional Railway Recruiting Board provides on their websites. Many applicants often choose this option to point out that the questions that were asked were incorrect or the responses were correct. According to an official of the Indian Railways, 95% of the time we are right. However, 7,200 questions are prepared. One of them could be framed wrongly. And then comes the language barrier as well. Finally, the recruitment drive is mostly outsourced. A portion of this whole recruitment drive is handled by an external agency. A company that is qualified for the assignment is found through a lengthy bidding process. But the firm that to whom the whole process is outsourced should have a turnover exceeding about INR 15 crores for it to be eligible, which is about $2 million roughly. And among other things, it has to have held an examination for a minimum of 5 lakh participants, which is about $500,000. Well, the Railway Ministry has previously worked with the likes of Tata Consultancy Services, a firm that specializes in large-scale public sector employment programs. So that's it, folks. This brings the end to the case study and the video on the gamut of recruitment. These are the list of sources and links referred to for our content in the video. Thank you and stay tuned for more videos.